Hang on, people! Oh, shit. I don't know if I'm in a bad mood or what. Almost blocked. I don't know how many damn people in this video. Look, people, I don't care if you disagree. I don't care if you say you hate all cops. I don't care if you say, in your opinion, I'm full of shit. What I will not read every morning is people coming here personally attacking me, saying I'm a hypocrite, I'm a lowlife, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, you're a freaking idiot. I mean, I don't even care if you call me an idiot or I don't know what I'm talking about. When you get personal and start making it personal, then I just block you because I just know you're not being objective. I try to cover issues, and I'll tell you, man, reading these comments, I like the comment section that's articulate, educational, people give feedback. Hey, I disagree with you. Hey, you didn't bring up this fact. Hey, you said this. I don't think that's true at my department. I don't mind conversations, and I don't mind you challenging me that I know I'm not right. I get that. I'm not right about everything, and everybody's got their own opinion, and the law is about a lot about opinions and circumstances, who sees what experience, etc. But man, I must have really missed the boat when I did this doctor pulls a gun on the car on the abortionist thing. Because I'll tell you, man, these comments are all over the freaking place. So in this video, I'm going to go over some comments, and I'm going to show a couple clips where the news media, the cop was end up being arrested. Not the cop. The guy was arrested that pulled the gun eventually, the doctor. A real doctor. I know people be like, you're always saying doctor. I'm telling you, this guy's really a doctor. So anyway, he ends up getting arrested. So let's go over some of the comments, and let me try to explain on what I think is constructive and not constructive and just being, and I think I might have deleted a few. I don't delete a whole bunch of comments unless they're just flat out, you know, you're an idiot, you just run your mouth, you talk too much. That person's getting deleted and probably blocked. I mean, it's obviously they're not here for any constructive feedback. They're just coming here to troll. All right, Ray Charles knew that was a gun. I agree. That gun was very clear if you watch the video. And I'll try to put the link to the video, but I'll probably forget. Doctor pulls gun on video. Cops refuse to arrest because they said, "Doesn't you decide." Something like that. That's what the video name is. All right, let's see here. I can't completely say I don't want to do paperwork. Okay, I don't think this case, this cop, a lot of people are saying that they think the cop didn't arrest him because there was favoritism, because he was a cop. There was a lot of things about money and status. Look, most cops don't give a shit who you are. You don't pay my salary. I don't care if you're a doctor or you're on welfare. You don't pay my salary. You can say it, yeah, taxpayers pay, I pay tax, whatever. You don't sign the check, I still get paid no matter what you say. Whether I arrest you or not, I still get paid. Cops usually don't make decisions on because somebody's a doctor or something. Now, lawyers, cops get a little bit iffy on because they know that a lawyer will sue their butt. But most cops who are doing the right thing, I don't care if you sue me. I'm doing the right thing. I know I'm doing the right thing. You can spin your wheels. I know I'm going to be covered under limited immunity because I'm within the law and I'm within policy. So I don't really care. But there's a lot of cops that just don't want to be sued. They're running around with a badge of honor saying, I've never been sued. Well, that probably means you didn't do too much, because if you're out there making a lot of arrests, especially a lot of felony arrests where people going to prison or facing substantial fines, you're going to get sued. But I digress. Let's go. I don't think this was about the doctor. I think this was about lazy cops not knowing the law, not wanting to do his job, picking and choosing. And that's my problem. This video I did, I was trying to focus on the incompetence of government, the unfairness of government, and how government gets to pick and choose. When you give government more laws and more ways to intrude on your freedoms, government gets to pick and choose when and who and how they enforce that. That's why giving government power is never good, because government will always use that power to their benefit to get more power or more money. That's just the way government works. You can come here and say, you hate government, you're anti-government. I'm just telling you the way government works. You can not like me, but the message is still there. All right. If a protest pointed a gun at a border, they would be stormed. I agree. I absolutely agree. I don't think they would be stormed because they're not a doctor. I think a lot of cops are tired of protesters out there being stupid and doing stupid things. So they're more likely to react to protesters. That's why I think. I don't think... Now, granted, there's going to be some cops that are pro-abortion or anti-abortion or have some political leaning, and they may let that affect their opinion. I personally don't care what you're doing. I just go by what the law is and what's reasonable. And I try to be as fair as I could. When I arrested somebody, it was fair. I never pick and choose, oh, this person's poor and can't fight me and can't sue me, so I'll go ahead and arrest them and treat them bad. But this guy's a doctor. Matter of fact, I did one of my crazy cop stories where a doctor filed a complaint on me because I wouldn't call him doctor. We were doing a child custody. He abducted his kid. His wife didn't want him. They were fighting back and forth. I mean, it was a mess. I think I covered it in one of my crazy cop stories. But, I mean, he was like, every time I'd call him, I'd go, David, look, we just need to, and I'd be trying to explain the law to him. He'd be like, it's not David, it's doctor. I'd be like, yeah, okay. So, David, we need, and I knew it was irritating him, and he was a pain in my ass, and I intentionally did not call him a doctor. And he filed a complaint on me. And I remember either my boss or the DA come down, and, they were like, damn, Rick, really? you just can't call him doctor? I was like, fuck him. He's being a dick. I ain't calling him doctor. There ain't no policy that says I got to call him doctor. I ain't violating the law. I ain't calling him doctor. He can kiss my ass. So, and of course, it was, God damn it, Rick, every damn crazy Texan wanting to fight the system, whatever. Anyway, I digress. Let's get back to this video. Let's see, saving the environment, killing babies. A lot of people made this video about what people were doing and lost track, or I didn't keep them on focus, that this is a government issue. This is a government control, government intrusion. Government gets to pick and choose who they file reports on. When they get guns from everybody, government gets to tell other people who gets to carry guns. So they will let people with money like doctors who can pay fines and donate to their political they will be allowed to carry guns when everyone else is not allowed to carry guns. Gun control is for the poor. Gun control is for those people that need the Second Amendment the most. The people who will be victims when only government has guns. But you can't explain that to a freaking liberal. All guns are bad. Rick, I'm a liberal and I own a gun. Shut up, you big dummy. If you're a liberal and you own a gun, you're an idiot. Because you will not be owning a gun long voting liberalism. You're going to lose your freaking gun and then be crying, oh, I'm a liberal and I own a gun and I can't believe they took my gun. Well, that's because you're an idiot. All right, I digress. Let's see here. Rick, police officer. Okay, that's kind of a... Appreciate that. I like these good comments. You ain't got to kiss my butt to come here. I can tell sometimes when somebody's just kissing my butt. I hate when somebody kisses me before they screw me. And I'm not talking about women. They used to always say, they'll always kiss you before they screw you. And it was kind of a play on, before you have sex, you kiss the woman. Well, in life, before somebody screws you, they usually kiss you or say something nice. And I get so tired of these passive-aggressive comments. Rick, I really like you, but you were an asshole in this video. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Rick, you're really a nice guy, and I normally agree with you, but you're full of shit, and you wouldn't say that if it was a... I hate comments like that. I mean, those are the people that I end up just like, you know what? Don't come here and try to play your little word games with me. Your FBI freaking tactics, verbal judo crap. Anyway, let me get back on. That's obviously a gun. This proves that police protect certain organizations. I do not think that this cop, I could be wrong. I'm just saying, from my experience, most cops don't go to a call with, if I went to a call that a Catholic priest was molesting a kid and I was Catholic, maybe a hardcore Catholic would go, well, because I'm Catholic and he's a priest, I'm not going to investigate this good. That wasn't me. I mean, I just didn't do that. If I didn't like you, I didn't care. But that's just kind of goes into values and integrity and how you're brought up and being able to look at yourself in a mirror. I've got a little saying on my website, The Man in the Mirror. I think that's the name of it. Anyway, hey, Rick, video, Dr. Privilege. Definitely look like one to me. Outrageous, everyone. Okay, let's get into brandishing a weapon versus assault with a deadly weapon. Because I didn't really get into the crime, and that's where a lot of people lost sight on this video, I thought. And it's my fault because as the instructor or teacher or somebody trying to educate you, I obviously didn't make it clear. This was not an issue on what crime has occurred. It was a crime, and the cops said it didn't look like a gun. The cops didn't say, well, we really don't have a crime. The cops didn't say, I talked to the guy and he felt in fear of his life, so I think it was justified if he did pull a gun. The cop didn't say that Arizona is a constitutional carry state and everybody's allowed to have a gun and they don't need a permit, so he didn't violate the rules of his permit, and I don't think he did. The cops didn't say any of that. The cops said, I can't conclusively make out it was a gun, or some words to that effect, that he said he didn't know if it was a gun. That was a flat out lie. And that cop is unethical. And that cop should be on the Brady list for the defense attorneys now for being lying and unethical. And that cop is going to be the star witness in this case. And I'll get back to that, hopefully, if I don't forget it. So, when somebody points a gun at you, some people were saying in the comments, well, big deal. So he pulled a gun. He didn't shoot it. What's the problem? Most states, not all, most states have a law about brandishing a firearm. And it usually says words to the effect, displaying a weapon in an angry or threatening manner to anyone is a violation of this offense. It goes to words like that. You can't point a gun at somebody, but Rick cops point guns all the time. I know that. Someone else got in here wanted to argue. If it was a cop, you wouldn't care. You freaking idiot. I'm always saying cops have a double standard. Cops are government. Government protects government. Government exempts themselves from crimes. Government will protect government when they commit crimes that they will arrest a citizen for. I'm not promoting that. I'm just telling you reality. The law says if you point a gun at somebody in an angry manner, it's a crime. When cops do it, they say, I was threatened and felt fear for my life. And the government always agrees with them because they're government, they're cops, they're doing a tough job, they're heroes, we have to support them. Whatever the excuse, they always say that. When a citizen does it, they usually say, well, you got to prove you were in fear. We don't think you were in fear. We don't think that's reasonable. They question it more when a citizen does it. But that wasn't the point of this video. The point of this video was the cop flat out lied and said, I don't think it's a gun, which was a lie, which means he doesn't have to enforce the law. That was the point I was trying to make. Everyone else wanted to make it about killing babies and protesters and whether you're pro-life or pro-this and who was right and who has the worst job and who deserves. None of that should matter. Government should be blind when they enforce the law. But whatever. I mean, this cop was obviously blind. He couldn't tell it was a gun. Let's see. Oh, and the other charge for pointing a gun is when almost all states have an assault with a deadly weapon. If you point a gun at somebody, that's an assault with a deadly weapon. That's a little bit higher charge than brandishing. Brandishing is threatening. Assault with a deadly weapon is usually the higher felony. In some states, cops can't arrest for a misdemeanor. I don't know if that's federal law or state law. It could be. Cops can't arrest for a misdemeanor not committed in their presence in California. I'll talk California because I know that. If it's a misdemeanor not committed in your presence, they can't do it except, there's always exceptions, DUI, I think child abduction might be in it. I can't remember. There's a few exceptions, but again, normally cops don't arrest for a misdemeanor not committed in their presence. But then you just do a citizen's arrest, called a CA or CI. You get the citizen to sign a ticket saying, I'm arresting this person. By law in California, a cop has no discretion. He must take custody of a person that's been lawfully that's been placed under citizen arrest. If I arrest anybody and I turn him over to the cop has to take him. Now, he doesn't have to book him. He doesn't have to take him to jail. So, if somebody wanted to arrest a cop, and we would play this game with cops sometimes, when they were arresting cops, people would come up and go, citizen's arrest, I'm arresting him. I'll be like, all right, I'll take him into custody, thanks, and I let him go. Because it gives the cops the ability that if a person makes a citizen's arrest and turns him over to the cop, if the cop does not think there's probable cause to arrest that person, he can then let him go and release him. So, a lot of times we would play that game with people who were running up wanting to citizens arrest cops. But anyway, So ADW, assault with a deadly weapon, is usually pointing a gun at somebody. If I hold a knife at your face and go, I'm going to cut your freaking throat, that's assault with a deadly weapon. If I point a gun at you and say, I'm going to blow your head off, that's assault with a deadly weapon. When this cop could have easily arrested him for either ADW or brandishing. If he went brandishing, he might have had to get a citizen's arrest. Maybe brandishing is one of those crimes that's exempt from a misdemeanor not in your presence. I'm not sure. Whatever laws the government really wants to enforce, they'll exempt. So, like I said, the law isn't clear as mud, but anyway. Let's see. Update, the doctor was arrested. That's right, the doctor was arrested. Let's see, it makes me wonder what side LEOs are on. The LEOs are on the side of getting a paycheck, doing as least they can, not getting a complaint, keeping their job, making sure they're within policy, making sure they make it to retirement. That's what side the LEOs are on. That's just reality. You can not like it or hate me. Let's see. Benefit. Maybe he should have been armed, shot back. Now, could anybody have shot back on him? Absolutely. Another issue that's going to come up is on defense. Was the doctor in danger? Did he feel he was in danger? Or was it reasonable that he felt he was in danger? Now, I didn't see, and we don't have video of how they approached him. They're holding signs. Can the doctor say, he had a wooden sign, I thought he was going to try and carjack me, I felt in fear of my life, so I pulled a gun to defend myself? He can say that. Is it reasonable? He's got to prove it was reasonable. He's got to say some facts on why it was reasonable and have it somewhat cooperative. He can't just make up stuff and be the only one that sees it that way. There was a lot of witnesses out there, and I'm assuming all the other witnesses are going to say, like in most of the news reports, we were peaceful, none of us had weapons, blah, blah. Well, anything can be a weapon, but is it reasonable for the doctor? Look, the doctor was driving. They never got in front of him. They never stopped his movement. And he pointed the gun backwards while he was going away. Was he really in fear? To me, that's going to be a hurdle the doctor's going to have to get over. Let's see here. So would a cop have shot him? Absolutely. Could a citizen have shot him? I don't know. See, cops don't really, if they're where they're supposed to be, and pretty much they can be wherever the hell they want through exigency or whatever, they don't have to jump over that hurdle where they trespassing or where they weren't supposed to be. Citizens, when that protester approached that car and walked off the sidewalk, he's got to prove he was where he was at. And he wasn't moving in a threatening and angry manner, and he did nothing that was threatening. But he ran right up to the window. So he would have a hurdle to get over that if he shot and killed him when he drew a gun, because he shouldn't have been charging him. Let's see here. What else, man? Hey, County Sheepdog. Evidently, he's got some videos. I've been wanting to bring him up. A lot of you guys comment on him. He's California cop, so me and him we talk the same lingo, and he posts a lot of sections. 417 is brandishing. 245 is assault with a deadly weapon. So he was like 417 brandishing, 30 days, blah blah. Here's what he said he would done, and I agree. With a misdemeanor, get a private person's arrest that we call a citizen's arrest. They call it private person arrest. He signs that he's arresting a person. Run the doctor for weapons. In California, we'd run him for weapons. And in Arizona, because it's a constitutional carry state, you don't need a permit. So I don't know how they do, or how there's no reason to check somebody to see if they're authorized to have a weapon. You can run him maybe to see if he's a felon if he's not authorized. But in California, because it's not a constitutional carry, if you have a gun, you need to prove that government told you can have a gun. Run the plate, interview the doc, search the vehicle. You can only search the vehicle subject to arrest if the guy was in a car. And what I would do if I was a cop, if I wanted to search a car and was too lazy to get a warrant, I would sit and wait for the doctor to leave. And as he drove out, I would see him. I would pull him over and say, hey, they made a complaint on you, and they showed me a video, and I didn't want to interrupt your work, so I waited till you got off work. But since you're in your car and I'm arresting you in your car, now I'm going to search your car, instant arrest, and see if you have a weapon or not. But you're under arrest. And now I'm going to tow your car, and I get to inventory it, and maybe I'll find a gun when I inventory it. So then you lose all the search issues. It's a way around the Constitution. I know people aren't going to like it called jackboot, but that's the way the law works. Cops are doing things that are within the law. If you don't like it, stop blaming the cops. Stop electing left-wing people and appointing people on the courts when you elect these left-wing idiots that all they want to do is get rid of the Constitution because the Constitution restricts government. You people want to focus on the cops. The cops is the cops' fault because they're on video and you see it. The cops aren't the problem. The cops work for the politicians. The cops work within the law of the politicians that you elect that appoint judges. That's the problem. So anyway, County Sheepdog, check out his channel, or his channel, throw him a few subs. I mean, you can sub to somebody without getting notifications just to raise his sub count. It seems like a good dude. I call him, I talk to him. He might do a follow-up video to this. If he does, I'll review his review of my review. And we'll get a little war. I'm not gonna call him a bad name. I might call him a big dummy if he's a big dummy. But anyway, let's see. Judging on a square in shape, I'd bet you $1 the old doctor was pointing a Glock. Okay, it was a gun. We don't have to have enough identification. Like I said, cops are shooting people for pulling out their wallet and a freaking cell phone. And now this cop's going to go, I don't know if it was a gun. I can't arrest him. Really? I bet you if it was pointed at you, you would shoot him. But anyway, let's get to the, I'm already 21 minutes. There was one comment in here. Where was that comment, dude? This dude almost got blocked. I kind of gave him a chewing out. And I might block one dude. Where's that other little punk that tried to tell me I'd sing a different tune if it was someone else? I just might block him on the channel for GP. Let me find him. This guy noticed that the doctor had a taillight out. I said they should have called CHP. They'd have rushed the building for a freaking taillight ticket. This guy wanted to comment. I acknowledge your point about we, but there's at least 2 people he pointed a gun at. This is one of those comments, and I'm not cracking on Tim. I'm just saying these are the kind of comments that kind of, I almost call it CNN. They throw in a little bit of truth and then make the point, which is a totally opposite point. I said don't use we when you're talking to the cops because it sounds like it's collective, and we can't be a victim. But this guy's saying, well, I acknowledge your point, but, and when somebody says but, that pretty much means I don't really care about this. Here's what I really think. There was at least 2 people with a gun. Yeah, I get that. There was 2 people. And again, I don't have a problem with his comment. I responded. Each person is a separate victim. We is not a victim. So, again, sometimes when comments are made like this, again, he's kissing me before he screws me. I acknowledge your point. There's the kiss. But there was at least 2 people that had a gun. This isn't a bad comment. I don't really have a problem with this comment, but these are the comments that usually guys are trolling me. I don't think this guy's trolling me. This guy asked, he's one of my normal viewers. I love his photo. The most censored incident in man in history. Is there a difference between brandishing and assault? I kind of covered that. Circumstances can pull a gun but not use it, be charged with brandishing and assault. A lot has to depend on what the victim feels. If the victim says, yeah, he pulled a gun, I know it was a gun, I didn't care, I wasn't worried about it, then we're not charging assault. Statements matter for victims and for people who are charged with a crime. So the victim would have to say, I was in fear of my life. He pulled that gun. I thought he was going to shoot me. I saw his finger on the trigger. I have nightmares. It scared the hell out of me. I thought I was going to die. Now we're past brandishing. We're more with assault with a deadly weapon. And that's kind of a grayish area. That's up to interpretation. Normally, in California, they call these wobblers, a crime that can be a felony or a misdemeanor. Now, brandishing and ADW are 2 different weapons. But sometimes there's crimes that one part, if this happens, it's a felony, and one part, it makes it a misdemeanor. So what cops will normally do on wobblers is you charge the felony. That way you can arrest. It doesn't have to be a misdemeanor committed in your presence. You just arrest them, you refer it to the DA, and then the DA normally pleads it down to the misdemeanor. Don't hate on me. I'm just telling you how it works. This guy, the cop is the same guy in New York reviewing a baseball replays. I thought that was funny. See, that's clever to me. Because you got some umpires out there that can't see for shit. Ray Charles be making better umpires than them. But I thought that was kind of funny. Because the cop says, I don't think it's a gun. Well, get your freaking Dr. Magoo glasses off. This guy says cops are real cowards. I'm not, or Julia, sorry. I don't think they're cowards. They're lazy. They're incompetent. Some cops are cowards, but I don't think all cops are cowards, and I don't think this cop was making a coward move as much as a lazy, incompetent move, in my opinion. Everyone wanted to point out dealer plate. I forgot about dealer plates. DL in most states is a dealer plate, but a dealer plate to me normally is a temporary, and it kind of attaches differently. This plate looked like it was screwed on like it was permanent. And dealer plates is the most abused plate because dealers don't have to pay taxes and they don't have to register vehicles. So they give out dealer plates to their employees, to their wives, to the manager's wives. That way they don't have to register their car and pay taxes like the rest of the people. That's probably the most abused thing there is. But because cars is big business and big taxes and government likes them, most cops don't enforce it. It's just kind of a poo-butt ticket anyway. CHP probably all over it. So this guy says, what if it was a plastic gun or with an orange tip painted over it? Doesn't matter whether the gun's real or not. Okay, and I put does not matter, display or threatening. People rob banks with fake guns all the time. You can have a BB gun, a fake gun, you can have toilet paper roll wrapped up with duct tape, make it look like a gun. It doesn't matter whether it's a real gun or not. If it's brandished in a way to threaten, simulate a gun, to commit a crime, felony, robbery, intimidate, threaten, then it's a gun. So it doesn't matter whether you use a real gun or not. Now, that might make his sentencing less. It might make the courts be more willing to plea it down, or the judge or the DA not to charge if it was a fake gun. But it doesn't matter where the law is concerned. The law doesn't say must be a real gun. If people were upset about that and wanted to change the law, they can make the law say, hey, if a gun is brandished, it has to be real or you can't charge them. I mean, the laws can be changed, and that's how you control cops. That's how you control government. Government doesn't want to control government. They hate the Constitution. They don't like restrictions. Why would they want to make good, clear laws that are easy to enforce? Because then they couldn't get more money for courts and more DAs and more cops and more government. So this guy, again, crossing things. Even if it was a gun, it's legal to open and transport a gun in Arizona. Soya, whatever the hell Soya means. Okay, this is one of those comments that's kind of like, I'm really smart, and because open carry in Arizona is a constitutional carry, it doesn't matter if you run around pointing guns. Well, that's because you're an idiot. I mean, obviously, carrying a gun is different than pulling it out and pointing at somebody in a threatening manner. But, if you're a freaking idiot, I guess it's the same. Rick, you can't call him an idiot. I just did. Everybody sees something different on a video. Some people saw the dealer plate. Some people saw it wasn't a real gun. Some people saw it was a doctor. Some people saw it was an abortionist versus anti-abortionist. Some people saw it was a cop protecting doctors. This guy, he saw it had a weird beard. I mean, it's just amazing how many people see videos differently. I'm talking about a cop being lazy, and we get, man, what's with the weird beard? I don't even know what he's talking about. Did one of the cops have a weird beard? I totally missed it. I've talked about this before. If you want me to review a video, you gotta put in quotes what I can search on Google and find it. If you give me these statements, hey Rick, interesting case in Colorado, home was destroyed by police chasing a suspect shoplifter, ran into a random house in Greenwood Village, original story, June 25th, appeals court just ruled. How the hell can I Google that? It takes me, when I get comments like this, I stop looking at them now, but I used to spend like 15 or 20 minutes Googling Greenwood Village. Then I'd Google stories 2015 appeals court. Then I would Google Colorado home destroyed. And I could never find a freaking video, and I end up wasting my time so much. I went, you know what? If you're too stupid, sorry dude, I'm not calling you stupid, I'm just using you example. If you're too stupid to give me an easy way to find a video, then I ain't doing it. Now if you put a link, it goes into another file, and I have so many of those I don't get to. But if you put in a comment like, hey, Google this and give me enough facts to where it piques my interest and I'm like, okay, I might want to look at that. That way I can just highlight Greenwood. I can highlight Greenwood Village, Colorado. I can right click and go search. If you can't make it easy for me to search, then I'm not going to look at that. Matter of fact, Bob, just to make a point, no offense, Bob. Bob, I love you, but damn, he just deleted his comment. All right, let's see here. This guy, you have video evidence. Protester was approaching the vehicle. All I see is a person reacting to a potential threat. Well, that's not a jump to conclusion on a little bit of evidence. Yeah, a guy did approach, but how is that a potential threat? I mean, anything could be a potential threat. Suppose it was just somebody walking across the street with no sign. I know totality of circumstances. He had signed, he was a protester. I agree, this can be a defense, but that was not mentioned on why the government did not arrest when it was clear that a guy brandished a firearm and pointed a gun at somebody. That wasn't addressed. The cop didn't say, you know what, there was a possible threat. He didn't say that. And everyone else wants to, for some reason, to defend their side on who they believe is right. They want to suddenly come up with all these other things, which I'm glad you're thinking, but that's not really what I was trying to point out. But whatever, you can get what you want out of the video. See, here's one. The police tend to protect leftist interests. No, they don't. Most cops are not leftists. It appears they pretend to protect. They work for leftists. They work for leftist mayors, leftist government, leftist city councils. That's who they work for. That's who tells them what to protect and what to ignore. See, you people keep wanting to make it about the cops, and you don't want to make it about who you elect to make policy for the cop. Here's another guy taking the cop side automatically, just coming up with all kind of excuses for a cop refusing to do his job. Consider that people are protesting, not liking this doctor. The protesters started coming to the car. The doctor said he could have pulled a gun and thought the guy, yeah, he could have, would have, should have said that he needed to take a shit and he was in a hurry. But that's not what the cop said. The cop said, I can't tell if it's a gun. You people are like just throwing in all this extra stuff, which is good because you're thinking, and that's reasonable. I get it. But that's not what the cop said. If we were discussing this video, and maybe I should have, because everyone else seemed to go to the legal aspect on this instead of the cop being incompetent and just saying, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see it was a gun. Okay, finally I found a video where this dude, and this dude's commented before. And when I see names that are kind of like common and then no picture, I always think somebody's just playing, internet. He wants to be an internet seal. He's Mr. Tough Guy. I'm usually 100% on your side, Rick. Aw, isn't that a nice kiss? I feel like I'm just about to get screwed. But if the doctor was a border patrol agent and pointed a gun at protesters, you would have no problem. I hate when people tell me what I think. You tell me what you think. Don't tell me what I think or what I would do, because you don't freaking know. You may think you know because you think you're so damn smart, but you don't. And my comment pretty much told him, first of all, you're full of shit. Second of all, it's not me. It's the law. I'm not the one that's saying the gun was a violation. I'm saying the law said it. And I always say, anyway, I just finally told him, look, if you're going to be a dick, I'm going to block you. I didn't block him because I get what he's saying, and I could have just took this wrong. Maybe you guys will read it and say, oh, I don't have a problem with that comment. You may not have a problem because you don't read 40 of these a day. But sometimes if I read 5 or 6 in a day and I get to another one, I'm just like, you know what? Screw this. I'll just block his ass. But where's the other guy that I want to block? Okay, here's the guy. The original gamer. Definitely looks like one, blah, blah, blah. This person made a comment, and then this guy says, they were approaching his car with weapons. If this happened to a cop in Flint, I bet Rick would be singing a different tune. Really? So here's a guy that wants to make it personal. See, he wants to kind of say that I'm unethical, I'm hypocritical, I have no credibility. You know what, Mr. Gamer? You're right, I don't have credibility. So, your ass is blocked. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. Alright, we'll end that there. Oh, wait, I want to do the doctor video. So the doctor was arrested for pointing a gun, and they actually show the doctor in court, which I thought was pretty cool. Ooh, pointing a gun.
Hearing from a doctor accused of pointing a gun at protesters outside a Phoenix abortion clinic. Dr. Ronald Eunice, who is now facing like aggravated assault charges, assault with a deadly spoke weapon. Before a judge.
Sometimes it's called aggravated assault. Assault would be, I'm going to punch you in the face. I don't have to hit you. If I hit you, then that's battery if there's contact. But if I just threaten to hit you, that's assault. This guy threatened to shoot him, so they call it aggravated assault.
Our Jamie Warren with his questions surrounding his own safety.
I'll pause it because everybody that
Ronald Eunice.
That's Dr. Ronald Eunice standing before a judge.
That wants to see him hang and burned in the street. You guys will all be happy. Look, he's in his little jail orange uniform. Rick, he's a bean person and he just... All right, whatever. You can have your opinion. All I got to say, if it wasn't for abortions, there'd be a whole lot more people on welfare and a whole lot more criminal element out there. And I'll just leave it at that. Rick, you can't say that. Well, I just did.
After this video garnered a lot of attention online.
Dude, you're a coward!
It shows Eunice allegedly point a gun at protesters as he leaves Acacia Women's Center in Phoenix, a clinic protesters say regularly performs abortions.
Okay, so
Police
that statement's
records show
gonna hurt
Eunice
him.
first denied
he
bringing a gun to work
saying,
and
I
pointing
didn't bring
it
a
at
gun and I didn't do it. So now he's a liar. So he's not going to want to go in front of a jury. This case is going to plea. Maybe. Guess who this doctor's best witness is going to be? Come on, raise your hand. It's the cop. The cop that said, I can't tell if that's a gun. He's going to be the star witness for this guy's defense. His defense attorney's going to call that cop and go, officer, you said you couldn't tell it was a gun. Therefore, if you couldn't tell it was a gun, how was a person threatened? And why should he feel threatened if there wasn't a gun? You're a trained police officer. Don't you handle guns every day? Aren't you trained in recognizing criminal activity? Aren't you trained in weapons? And you could not recognize it as a gun, and you said that. As a matter of fact, you even refused to arrest him because you couldn't recognize it as a gun. He's going to be the star witness. Now, this has a problem with government because now the DA is going to have to bring in other cops to counter this cop's ignorance, and this cop is going to be testifying, so now it's going to ruin this cop's testimony in other cases. So this is going to be a big bucket for government, and you know what? Guys probably end up walking, and somebody will claim conspiracy. It was planned that way. The Jews did it. That's always a good one. I don't know how the hell everything ends up being the Jews' fault, but for some reason, man, shit, if a car hits me, it was a Jew made one of the tires and it's their fault. I don't get it. But anyway.
Protesters, which he accused of being aggressive, but later admitted,
so he admitted a gun was in his car.
Inside
so first he admitted he didn't do it, then he admitted he changed the story. When you give statements and you give conflicting statements, now you lose credibility. If you take the, now remember, he doesn't have to take the stand. So whether or not they can get those statements in, whether they were in custody, whether he felt threatened, whether he should have been Mirandized and he wasn't, and he gave that statement before he was Mirandized where he should have been Mirandized. So there'll be all those issues in this case. And, you know, it'll fall where it is. But here's what the news said.
Release. You'll be let go today, and there's no bond.
A judge putting Eunice on supervised release, saying he can return to work but can't have any weapons. Eunice asked the judge what he should do.
This is what you call playing
if he
the
comes
victim.
across the
Man, I'm really scared.
Again.
I really needed a gun to protect myself. What am I going to do now when these protesters come up to me? Well, you do what everyone else does. You don't pull a freaking gun on them. Okay? Get you a knife. Get you a Stairmaster. Figure out how to run. I don't care what you do, but look at the attorney's face when this guy starts talking to the judge. He's like, dude, shut the hell up. I'm here representing you. Don't run your freaking mouth. Don't give a statement. Don't say shit that can be used against you. But this guy wants to ask the judge, like the judge is suddenly his legal attorney this attorney's like, dude, you're paying me. I'm your defense attorney. Why are you asking the judge what to do? The citizen is thinking, well, I'll let the judge know that I was in fear and I was in fear and maybe he can give me some good advice. This guy shouldn't ask this question to the judge. His attorney probably wanted to go, dude, shut the fuck up. But he probably couldn't get it out in time and he knew they were on the speaker. So he just looks at him like, dude, shut up.
If the plaintiffs initiate contact, which is how this happened, what are my rights?
I can't even believe
in
the
that
judge
case?
responded to it.
If you feel like
the judge should have went, I don't give legal advice. You have an attorney that you're paying. I think that's a better question for him. I'm not here to give you legal advice. But the judge wanted to get into if you feel you're being threatened and stuff.
You feel like you're being prevented from going to a place
the judge,
where you have right to go?
This is why, this is sometimes when
this
people
happened.
ask my opinion, I don't want to give it, especially in horse people. They don't really want to hear your answer. They already have their mind made up. They're just asking you, and then they're going to come back with some reason when you tell them what you think. So he asks the judge, what should I do? The judge tells him, of course, the judge tells him the standard government line, call government. Government will protect you. We're here to help. Dial 911. Of course, that's going to be the judge's answer. And guess what? Now the judge gets another question. I don't care. I've already called him. I've done that. Nothing happens. So now he wants to argue with the guy he just asked advice from. This is so typical when people ask for advice when they really don't want it. They're just trying to make a statement. Remember, 80% of all questions are really statements in disguise. People are trying to make a statement. People do that in questions all the time. Well, Rick, what about this? They're actually trying to make a statement about what they're asking. They're not really wanting my opinion on it.
Prevented from going to a place where you have the right to go? Call the police.
Call it again.
We did.
Can't have vigilante.
This happened.
So now he's
Call
arguing
it
with
again.
him.
We cannot have vigilante justice. You can't be taking matters into your own hand for the reasons that the counsel for the state expressed is, if nothing else, you don't know how they're going to respond.
Don't roll your eyes. He rolled his eyes and then said, no, I didn't roll my eyes. You're full of shit. I guarantee you he rolled his eyes and the judge saw it. And now he's like, no, I didn't roll my eyes. Now he's pissing the judge off like 3 times. He asked him a question. He didn't want to hear the answer. He didn't like the answer. He wanted to argue with him. And now when he didn't get the answer he wanted, he rolled his eyes. And now the judge told him not to roll his eyes. And he said, I didn't roll my eyes. Jesus Christ, dude. You ought to be the example of what not to do in front of a freaking judge. Are you kidding me?
Sir, I was not rolling my eyes.
The
No, I wasn't rolling my eyes. Sir, I was not rolling my eyes.
The protesters say before this incident occurred, they've never had a confrontation with Eunice and never threatened him. Today, an employee at the clinic confirmed
he was arrested.
he's still
I know
employed
this
with them, but wouldn't comment any further.
This went on a long time. I covered a lot of different topics. I'll get ready to delete all the comment. You talk too much. Your video. And hey, when you guys make a funny comment, because I know a lot of you who are regular viewers will make comments you know that trigger me, just as a joke up front, and then you say something afterwards. Sometimes, as soon as I read the first part and it's bullshit, I just delete it. So you may get blocked or deleted from being funny because I just read the first part and I didn't get to the second part because the first part just triggered me so much. So it is what it is. I know somebody's coming here, Rick, just ignore the haters. Just be super good and just concentrate on the positive. Look, I don't let people walk up to me on the street and get in my face and call me an idiot. And I'm not going to let them do it in the comments. So it is what it is. If you ain't going to walk up to me and say it in my face, which a lot of you punks ain't going to do, then don't do it in the comments. All right? And we'll end that there. Thanks for all the great comments and all my regular viewers and all you guys that learn shit and that laugh with me and that have the same sense of humor as me. But anyway, we'll end that there.